So there's a lot of things the media ain't talking about when it comes to Donald Trump being arrested that should be talked about. Eventually they might talk about it if he gets indicted. And that is what happens if the President of the United States, former or past, gets arrested. For those of you that watch sci-fi movies, you might see when an asteroid hits Earth and we're coming towards Earth to detect it, they go and they pick up some of the best scientists around. They might pick up a geologist, astrophysicist, various scientific people that are experts in their field. Well, they have a list, and that list is made by a think tank. I'm not for sure if a think tank has ever talked about or made a policy, though, about what happens if a president does get arrested. And I'll tell you, there's some problems. Problem one is the president knows all the nation's secrets, right? And he'd be at risk to spilling those secrets. So you got to wonder if he actually goes to a prison, or would a judge make him go to a house arrest. Now explain the problems. One, if Donald Trump goes to prison, this is two actually, does the Secret Service still protect him? He's in prison, right? He can't have a roommate. That should be common sense because he's the president. He needs a cell by himself. The other thing that you're going to have to worry about, which would be three, is, like I said, spilling the nation's secrets. Because the president would be mad, and because he'd be looking to get paid back, any president, not just Donald Trump, which obviously Trump wouldn't, is contact with outside people. You'd have to limit the contact. It had to be monitored severely. Because Donald Trump, like I said, knows all the nation's secrets, all the nation's problems. He would know all the nation's generals, the daughters, the sons. He would have a good idea and list. And it'd be a good idea to make for sure that contact doesn't reach out through Twitter. You gotta make sure he doesn't have a phone or his type of Twitter where he can't complain, right? Because he's already asked Russia one time for, information about Biden when he was running elected. He has a history of running to Russia for a lot of stuff, and that would be a serious concern, serious security concern. So once again, like I said, MSNBC, CNN, ABC News, even Fox, they're all going to eventually talk about what happens if he actually gets handcuffs put on. What does the Secret Service's role play? And what kind of contact will be allowed for the President of the United States? Because it would seem he would need a special place, different from a prison. He can't be around prisoners, and for security reasons, right? Especially a hardened criminal where he would go, because insurrection and treason and even murder, he led to a lot of cops got killed, right? Since January 6th, I think 5 or 6 Capitol Police even committed suicide because of Donald Trump. And a lot of you Trump supporters that sit there and say you support law enforcement, no you don't. You can cut that lie out right now. You never did, and you never will. You only support law enforcement if they support Trump and if they're on the Capitol side with the insurrection, unfortunately. That's just the truth. You're going to have to come to terms with it whether you like it or not. So like I said, there's some serious problems. There's going to be some serious concerns. And is there actually a playbook in place, like the end of the road, or what if China attacks, to have different scenarios? If China does this, or China does that, if Russia does this, or Russia. So we have a lot of different playbooks for stuff, but what is the playbook for the president when he gets arrested? There's a lot of things that they're going to have to talk about. There's a lot of things that they have to go over. And it very well be that a judge might have his hands tied. He might take a lot of flack. So say the playbook says, you know what, President of the United States, no matter the crime, he's going to have to serve his sentence at home because of the amount of security risk, right? And Secret Service will have to protect him. Let's say the Secret Service says that, we have the absolute protection. They'll have to turn from protection to guards. That's going to have to be talked about, whether it become guards or whether he's actually going to get prison guards. And all that needs to be laid out. It's going to have to be thought out carefully, especially with Donald Trump, who likes to run to Russia for everything, his daddy Putin. So it's going to be interesting to see if Donald Trump does get indicted, does get handcuffs put on, does get charged with anything. And we'll see exactly what happens, how he gets treated, and we'll go from there.